No, thank you very much, Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces. The Commander-in-Chief of the Economic Freedom Fighters, let us use this opportunity to be thematic and focus on only one issue that is contained in the Cardinal Pillars for Economic Freedom in our lifetime, which is industrial development to create millions of jobs. We'll later on deal with the careerists, mostly the factory faults of the dysfunctional youth movement who came here with chicken audacity to sing for supper. One was even falsely saying that the Zondo Commission was conceptualized under the current administration. Now, the simple fact about economic and industrial development, which is a thematic focus today, is that you cannot achieve any form of economic development without a radical and decisive pursuit of industrialization. One of the greatest thinkers in the world once said that industrialization draws all, even the most barbarian nations, into civilization. Justin Lin once said that except for a few oil exporting countries, no country has ever gotten rich without industrialization first. And then an Ethiopian economist once said in a recent observation about Africa's industrialization day that Africa needs to single-mindedly focus on industrialization, as the hard truth is that there is no shortcut to economic transformation. In its current form and direction, South Africa's industrial policy is misplaced, out of context, unscientific, ahistorical, and therefore a dismal miscarriage. Anyone who argues that such is contrary is a charlatan, is a trickster, or certainly a useful instrument in the hands of neoliberal and neocolonial handlers. We focus on industrialization because industrialization determines the country's trade policies, its fiscal policies, its monetary policy. Industrialization determines the country's foreign policy and the long overdue need for continental integration. Industrial policy, a correct industrial policy, will make us appreciate the need to establish a state bank, which the Minister Tito Mboweni and Deputy Minister David Masondo are dismally failing to deliver. Industrialization will make us appreciate the need to propose and deal decisively with the repossession of land without compensation for agricultural and industrial purposes. Industrialization makes us appreciate the necessity of state-led and state-owned energy security that is underpinned by a base load of clean coal, whilst gradually and purposefully integrating other energy sources such as nuclear energy, renewable energy, and liquefied natural gas. We focus on industrialization because global capitalism and its manifestation in South Africa is assuming a financialized form and content where speculative short-term investments carry more value than real investment in the productive economy. Now let's repeat what we're saying here, which is evidence-based that in its current form, South Africa's industrial policy is not developmental, is not creating enough jobs, and does not protect and promote locally made goods and products. It is a disgrace that we pride ourselves on assembling German cars. We pride ourselves on assembling Japanese cars and American cars and Indian automobiles. The President of the Republic also even goes to those plants of assemblage and portray them as if they are centers of industrialization. We are still a neo-colonial economy. That is why the Premier of the Eastern Cape in the debate here was celebrating the fact that South Africa is the second biggest exporter of citrus products. Kuri kahle kahle hi celebrate ku hina hi exporta malamula, hi ma isa ka matiko man'wana ma le ka Europe, when we are not doing anything meaningful in terms of industrialization. The Minister of International Relations was today celebrating that the Asian economies are going to allow South Africa to export avocados, table grapes, pears, and meat. That is what our focus has been in terms of industrialization. Let us give a clearer context of what do we mean by industrialization. That industrialization must produce goods and products that are globally consumed. When industrialization happened in America, the essence of their industrialization was the Ford Motor Company. When industrialization happened in Germany, the core of that industrialization was the production of automobiles, such as Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Volkswagen, Audi, and many other useful industrial and manufacturing products. The essence of industrialization in Japan is the production of Toyota, of Honda, of Nissan, and many other industrial products in the productive economy. The essence of industrialization in South Korea includes Samsung and LG Electronics, which produce a lot of household and telecommunications electronics. The South Korean economy produces Hyundai as one of the automobiles that is dominant in the world currently. Now, in the mid-1970s, South Korea's economy was smaller than South Africa. It is currently the 10th biggest economy in the world when measured in nominal GDP terms. And South Africa is ranked in the 40s. Now, the Chinese economy is anchored by massive industrialization that is focusing on development and production of productive goods that are happening there. And one of the most notable aspects about that is that more than 100 of the world's biggest corporations, which are now featured in the Global 500, are Chinese companies, and 94 of those are state-owned. But what is the contribution of South Africa to the industrial and manufacturing world? Nothing. That is why you have got politicians of the ANC who come here to celebrate avocados and grapes as one of our major components and one of our major exports. And that is a problematic approach in terms of what happened. And you will, of course, try to justify the special economic zones that are in existence now. Let us tell you about basic facts about that. Since the inception of these special economic zones and even the IDZs that existed before that, the South African government has not injected more than 20 billion rand into the industrial development initiative and purpose. And there's never been creation of more than 20,000 jobs, whilst we have got a crisis of unemployment of 10 million. South Africans who are looking for jobs are capable of working and are not getting jobs. And we want to make a solid intervention that for maximal returns, for developmental purposes, and to create jobs, South Africa should spend a minimum of 10% of its budget on labor-absorptive industrial expansion with export capacity. Whilst social grants are important, they have illustrated we are spending almost 200 billion now on social grants, but they are not dealing decisively with the poverty crisis that defines millions of South Africans. Now, the chief whip of the NCOP, who represents the ruling party, will not know that in the 1980s, and as part of the influx control, the apartheid government introduced industrial road zones through the Good Hope plan, which saw the establishment of factory zones in areas such as Mthatha, Sibasa, and all those other areas. And all of those have not added any value into the post-democratic dispensation. We need to convert all of those into localized industrial zones that are going to benefit South Africa's economy. President, you must not be misled by the choir that says that you will not be removed if you neglect the land question. We are going to remove you. You know our capacity. That will remove you.
Just a minute. On what point there is Honorable Member? I want to know if Honorable Floyd will take the question, Chair. Honorable Floyd, will you take a question?
I don't think we're in the same league to could entertain questions with the juniors like that.
Why the point of order, Chair of the session?
But why are you disturbing the Deputy President?
Because it's junior Deputy President. Speak before I say speak.
Deputy President.
That leads to confusion. Honorable Floyd, please.
Okay, he's senior to you, Bravo.
Hey,
Shut up.
Ice boy.
To who?
Can I proceed and finish, Chair?
Please proceed.
Don't finish.
I was giving a context that let us convert the white elephants that were created, which most politicians think were products of Bantustan or so-called homeland administrations. Let us convert those into industrial zones for local beneficiation and local industrialization that will empower our people. And that is the only way we'll deal decisively with poverty. Now, the choir that came here, mostly from the dysfunctional youth movement, the products of the youth movement, the members such as Kumbuzo Tabeni, Manamela, Lamula, Mbalula, they came here to reassure the president that he must not be afraid that we will remove him when he neglects and moves away from the land question and continues to empower white people. He must know that that is exactly what they did when President Zuma was in office. I want to tell you, President, and you know very well our capacity, that if we decide that he must be removed from office, we can remove you in all positions of power that you occupy now, because we're not going to retract on the land question. At the center of a successful industrialization program is a proper land redistribution plan, it's a proper state-owned financial institution, which in this instance must be a bank that is going to then deal with the developmental issues. So don't listen. Don't listen to those who are singing for SAPA. Don't listen to those who are singing for SAPA and giving insurances to you. You know our capacity in terms of what should happen. Now our call, Chairperson, our call is that
Come on, Chairperson.
People.
And so on, it doesn't help the situation because he loses his time and we'll have to really allow him to speak. So 1 minute, Kibambo, conclude.
our main submission is that South Africa must not continue to import unnecessary products and goods that can be locally beneficiated and produced. Let us focus on industrialization because that is the only instrument that is going to bring about real economic development and defeat poverty, reduce inequalities, and make sure that our people have got sustainable jobs. And at the center of that is the reunification of our people with the land